So this aircraft behind me, the A321neo, is one of the most fuel-efficient aircraft we make, if not the most fuel-efficient aircraft. And by using SAF on there, that's helping Delta achieve their decarbonization goals for 2030 and beyond.
Why does SAF, sustainable aviation fuel, matter now?
I think it matters now more than ever because we're seeing the industry is continuing to grow. We need to continue that growth, but in a way that doesn't add more emissions to the atmosphere. So grow it as environmentally friendly as possible. For a company like Airbus, I mean, we see it as part of our license to operate in Europe as they get, more and more mandates around burning jet fuel and stuff like that. So yeah, very much sustainable aviation fuel is a way to allow us to continue to grow the industry. All our delivery flights right now, at an absolute minimum, have 5% SAF on board.
Can you talk about why you guys decided to do that and how it's working so far?
So that's an interesting question because we're trying to do a number of things. Well, one, obviously help our customers decarbonize their business for themselves, but then also by procuring SAF, putting on delivery flights, we're sending a message to the industry that this is real, that there is a demand, and we're kind of helping aggregate that demand. So yeah, right now, certainly if you look at our Mobile facility here in the US, every single delivery flight, 5% SAF on board. And then it also sends a message to regulators, to the local, state, and federal government that we need additional policy incentives to help grow that industry.
Can you talk a little bit about the investments Airbus has made in SAF supply?
Yeah, so I think one of the things that's critical to us, we have the three pillars that we work on: the demand, the supply, and the advocacy. So on the supply side, we've engaged with a number of players here in the US. We've got an investment in a company called DG Fuels, and they manufacture sustainable aviation fuel from a waste feedstock like woody biomass, things like that. They use Fischer-Tropsch. We've also got an investment in a company called LanzaJet, which uses corn ethanol. It uses ethanol to produce jet fuel. Again, an alcohol-to-jet process. So two different technologies. We're trying not to pick a winner, but we're trying to cover as many as possible, again, to try and promote growth in the industry.
What are some policy and cost challenges around SAF that you all are seeing?
That's probably one of the key questions right now. I mean, the one big beautiful bill that just got passed, in the initial text, there was going to be $1.75 available to offset the cost of sustainable aviation fuel to our customers. When the bill finally got passed, that was reduced to $1, so there's no longer that delta there that would help stimulate the supply and stimulate the demand. So that's a key area that we are focused on. There's other elements. There's a renewable fuel standard, which also helps bridge that divide between the cost of SAF and what customers are willing to pay. So that's another focus. But I think what we see now here in the US more than anywhere else, instead of relying on federal subsidies, we're going to switch now to the states and look for state support and where they can bring in additional support. And we see that right now with Minnesota, that we're partners with Delta in the Minnesota SAF Hub, and they've been quite instrumental in getting a tax credit passed in Minnesota for SAF that's produced in SAF that's produced in Minnesota and uplifted in Minnesota. So we want to try and replicate that elsewhere in the US.
Can you talk about the path to Airbus getting to 100% SAF utilization by 2030, I think it is?
Yeah, so right now, all of our fleet, all of our aircraft flying, helicopters and commercial jets, they're approved to fly on a 50% blend. The next step is getting to 100% by 2030. That innovation is mostly going to come around the fuel, because that 100% SAF is going to be a drop-in fuel that will be completely transparent to the operators, completely transparent to the infrastructure, won't need any changes. Beyond that, well, that's a whole other kettle of fish. So that 5% SAF that we put on all our delivery flights, we have some customers, even in South America, we have customers that go beyond the 5%. So I wouldn't name names, but some that will take a 30% blend or more if it's available. And likewise in Europe, we've got some customers that go beyond the mandated volume that's required. I wouldn't name and shame, but yes, we have a few customers that are doing that. And we are actively working with our customers on either investments, offtakes, and anything we can do to help facilitate the decarbonization pathway.